because there's not enough housing. So we're going to build at least 40,000 council homes, at least 6,000 rent control homes.
If you don't like that, if you don't like the changes that we've made, I say the door is open and you can leave.
You're being sold a story of secure borders, of cleaner air, of convenient digital futures.
Spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID. It's as simple as that.
But behind the headlines and the press conferences, a different reality is taking shape. One of uncontrolled migration, of state-controlled digital identities, of daily taxes disguised as environmentalism, and of a political class that labels your concerns as conspiracy. This isn't a party political broadcast. This is an investigation. The central promise was simple: stop the boats. It was a mantra, a pledge, a line in the sand. But since early 2023, under Sir Keir Starmer's leadership, the boats did not stop. They kept coming, often under the cover of darkness, their arrivals sometimes preceded by what one internal memo called a courtesy announcement from Downing Street itself, a quiet heads-up that another vessel had slipped through the net. But this is just the surface of the crisis. What happens after they arrive? The government talks of crackdowns. Yet official data shows illegal working arrests have jumped by over 50%. This isn't a sign of success, it's a symptom of a system buckling under the strain. While law-abiding citizens face ever more rigorous checks to simply earn a living, thousands are sliding into the shadow economy, unchecked. Consider the chain of events. The previous government's fast-track deportation schemes were scrapped. Channel patrols were scaled back. The message of deterrence was replaced with a system that, in practice, processes rather than prevents. And then, the most shocking revelation lies in the fine print of the government's own plans. An analysis by the Henry Jackson Society suggests Labour's proposed policies would not cut migration, but would instead add roughly 127,000 new migrants to the UK's numbers every single year. That's a city the size of Cambridge, every year, added to the population indefinitely. The question is simple: if the goal was to reduce immigration, why do the official figures point in the opposite direction? Why dismantle the mechanisms of border control while simultaneously implementing a system that will, by the government's own projections, significantly increase legal migration? The official answer is one of managed compassion, but the numbers tell a story of a border that is, in effect, open by design. A design that has consequences for every British citizen in a way none of them could have anticipated. The answer to the border crisis, they said, was not just in the water, but in the palm of your hand. They told you it was about convenience. One login for everything: your driving license, your NHS records, your benefits. A seamless digital Britain. What they didn't tell you was that you had no choice. The mandatory Brit ID scheme, rolled out by the Starmer government, is now law. To work, to access essential services, you must have this digital key in your pocket. The Prime Minister himself called it an enormous opportunity to make borders more secure. But for you, the citizen, it means Big Brother has taken up residence on your smartphone. Every job application, every benefit claim, every interaction with the state is now filtered through the same centralized system. They sell it as a tool to fight illegal labor, promising that if you come here illegally, you will not be able to work. But let's examine that promise. In practice, it is every single British citizen whose right to work now hinges on state permission, delivered via a digital chip. You are now the one who must prove your innocence. You are the one who must carry the state's authorization.
The door is open. Come in. Make us your home again.
The illegal migrant is the justification for this system, but you are its primary target. This is a power grab in plain sight. They will know where you drive, which services you access, and when. They have built a digital drawbridge, and they control the gate, all under the guise of protecting your job. But you have to ask, whose job is really being protected here? Yours, or the future digital overlord monitoring your every move? The infrastructure for a social credit system is now being laid, brick by digital brick. and it was sold to you as a solution to a problem the government itself seems unwilling to solve. Meanwhile, in the capital, another revolution was underway. Sold under the banner of public health, Mayor Sadiq Khan announced a victory.
The bottom of my heart, thank you, London.
Khan killed London! Khan killed London!
Can you please?
London's air was now within legal limits, a target he claimed was achieved 184 years ahead of schedule. The narrative was one of triumphant progress, but on the streets, a different story was unfolding. For the owner of a petrol car built before 2005 or a diesel before 2015, every single day on London's roads, this ultra-low emission zone, ULEZ, was framed as a response to a health emergency. But for millions of working families, small business owners and tradespeople, it feels less like a health policy and more like a daily tax on their livelihood. The city set aside 110 million of public money to incentivize people to scrap their old cars. Your money funding a policy that disproportionately impacts those who can least afford a new vehicle. Take a nurse living on the outskirts of London, driving an older but reliable car for her night shifts. That's over $300 a month added to her cost of living. That's over £9,000 a year for a small business, a cost that will inevitably be passed on to customers, fueling the very inflation that cripples household budgets. They claim it's about your lungs, but critics see it as a cash grab, plain and simple.
To transport, Mr. Mayor, and it's quite clear that all you wanted for Christmas was ULEZ, and so that goes in despite 60% of people that you are saying that they definitely didn't want it. Do you think it's actually fair that people are going to have to either not see relatives over Christmas or pay £12.50 to you in order to come and see them if they haven't got a car that complies?
A choice between clean air and your wallet being cleaned out. And the data reveals a telling pattern. The massive expansion of the ULEZ zone coincided with a desperate need for the mayor's office to find new revenue streams. Your necessary journey became their line item. And if you dare to voice that criticism, be prepared for the response. This is where the playbook becomes sinister. These are not insurrectionists, they are Londoners. They hold signs expressing worry about the cost of living. They are parents concerned about their children's asthma, questioning if this tax is the only solution. So what was the official response from City Hall? Sadiq Khan did not address their data. He did not engage with their arguments. Instead, he blasted them. He called them part of the far right. He smeared them, claiming some are COVID deniers, some are Tories. The message was chillingly clear. Disagree with the policy, and you are a fascist, a conspiracy nut, a dinosaur.
Fewer than half of Londoners have faith in the police service. You're the boss of the police service. How much responsibility do you have to take?
No, I accept full responsibility. I've been looking into the issue of confidence around the country and not just the Met Police Service. So in London, the really worrying thing from the most recent crime survey is only 51% of Londoners have confidence in the Met Police Service. By the way, it's 40% in Greater Manchester. It's 49% in West Yorkshire.
We're talking about
What I'm making is this is the national problem. And Dame Louise Casey talks about...
Okay, you're here to talk about London today.
Dame Louise Casey talks about the devastating impact of austerity, her words, not mine. So what we're trying to do is bring about immediate change in London. That means changing how we recruit, how we vet, how we supervise, how we do misconduct. Some of these things we need the government supports in vetting and in misconduct.
You did this already. Why have we not done it before now?
Well, it's a question for the Home Secretary when she's here with you. I'm quite clear in relation to what I've done over the last few years. I was the guy that called for an independent review into the police service. I insisted that it should be Dame Louise Casey. I made sure it looked at systems and cultures to shine a light in every part of the Met Police Service. And today's report has got to be that wake-up call for anybody in denial about the scale of the challenge.
You've been the Mayor of London for nearly 7 years now. You have to accept some responsibility that half of Londoners don't trust the service that you're providing.
And that's why ultimately I lost confidence in the former Commissioner. Look, reforming the Met Police Service is a critical part of my mayoralty. Dame Louise Casey is not just diagnosed the symptoms, she's given the prognosis and a route map at how we get out of here. I'm determined to make sure we accept all the recommendations to get out of here.
As one Conservative critic pointed out, the playbook is simple. If you disagree, he'll call you a science denier, a flat earther. It's a strategy of insult, designed to shut down debate and bury legitimate concerns under a mountain of slurs. We have witnessed citizens filming protests being handcuffed for breach of the peace. We have seen insiders who speak out being silenced and labelled extremists within their own organisations. The democratic space for dissent is rapidly narrowing. The message from the top is unified: conform or be condemned. This is not the British way. This is the tactic of a regime that fears the people it is meant to serve. But the agenda extends even further into the very fabric of our society. While British families, white, black, Asian, Christian, Hindu, Sikh, Muslim and atheist, languish on social housing waiting lists for years, a bombshell policy emerged from the mayor's office. Sadiq Khan pledged to build 40,000 new homes, but these were not for the general public. This was a specific, exclusive promise to build 40,000 homes for members of the Muslim community.
I know that many Londoners who are Muslim face is their children not fulfilling their potential. Often they're underemployed or in jobs that they can do better jobs, but they haven't got the skills. Every Londoner who is on low income or not working will get free training to get the skills for jobs that are created in London. Really important in this great city. The other big issue facing Londoners, particularly Londoners of Islamic faith, is the issue of housing. And so we need to build far more homes in our city because often people from minority communities want to live near a mosque, near halal food, near places where there are other people like them, so they for a variety of obvious reasons, and they're priced out because there's not enough housing. So we're going to build at least 40,000 council homes, at least 6,000 rent control homes. And the final thing to say in relation to Londoners who are Muslim is, look, one of our strengths is our diversity. It's something I'm really proud of. I've organised, since I've been mayor, events like Eid on the Square, Ramadan nights and so forth. Why is that important? It gives a sense of belonging.
The justification was addressing inequality, but the outcome is state-sanctioned preferential treatment based on religion. In a nation struggling with a universal housing crisis, the government is choosing to allocate resources based on faith, prioritising one group over another. Imagine a single mother, a pensioner, an ex-serviceman, all of whom have played by the rules, paid their taxes and waited their turn, seeing housing allocated not by need, but by religious affiliation. This isn't social cohesion. This is state-sponsored division. It is an outrageous, divisive policy that tells hard-working Britons of all backgrounds that they are not the priority. It fractures community relations and sows seeds of resentment that will last for generations. It is the politics of identity, weaponized. So where does this leave us? We have examined these policies in isolation, but now we must connect the dots. A border policy that seems designed for failure, funneling more people into a system. A digital ID system that then tracks every citizen under the pretext of managing this influx. A crippling daily tax on movement that drains the finances of the working and middle class. And when those citizens complain, they are smeared and silenced. And all the while, resources are being allocated not on the basis of universal need, but on the basis of group identity. This isn't a series of coincidences, this is a pattern. They promise justice and security, and then they tax you, track you, and taunt you for complaining. They whisper, for your own good, while implementing a fundamental transformation of the relationship between you and your government. Your car is your property, not their piggy bank. Your privacy is your right, not a privilege to be digitized away. Your opinions are not fringe conspiracies, they are the very essence of democracy in action. They have underestimated you. They have underestimated the British public's ability to see through the smoke and mirrors, to connect the dots, and to recognize a fundamental shift in power when they see it. This is the reality behind the rhetoric. This is the agenda. It's time to stop listening to what they say and start looking at what they do. Demand answers. Protect what is yours, your privacy, your wallet, and your freedom. Wake up, Britain. The future they are building is not the one you voted for. It is a future of control, of division, of silence. And it is being constructed right now, in plain sight. The only question that remains is this: will you let them get away with it?